Lord. Welcome back. This is CUBN, Christians United Broadcasting Network, where we want to see you be encouraged in Jesus' name. Glory to the King. Okay, we're going to continue with what we were talking about in our first segment about Satan and his 1/3 being cast down, when and what to expect. Now, we may end up covering that may end up covering the whole show, but it's an important topic, and it's something that's going to occur in about less than 2 years. And so it's really important that we know what to expect when this amazing event occurs. Now, this happens at the sixth seal. We talked about that, and we read through verse 14 in Revelation chapter 6 from 12 to 14. We're talking about the sixth seal. These are mid-trib events. Satan is cast down at mid-trib. There is an existing temple at that time. The two witnesses are going to be here. We're going to see them. We're going to see the temple rebuilt. We're going to see the economic collapse. We're going to see the treaty. We're going to see the rise of the mark of the beast system. We're going to see the two witnesses. We're going to see the temple defiled. We're going to see Satan cast down, and then Jesus is going to show up in the sky, very likely, according to my theory, September 2018. Now, we won't know the day or the hour until then, because we have to wait till we get to that point in time, and the priests see the new moon and declare the feast started. And once they do that, it'll be about 48 hours after that, okay? And he'll come at twilight, the moment between day and night that is neither. It's called the twinkling of an eye. It's a measurement of time on the Jewish clock. And so we know exactly when to expect him once they declare the feast started. And we'll know between now and then if my theory is correct, because all these other things will have to occur prior to that. But 2018 is the first year that actually will qualify. You have to have a blood moon for that sixth seal. And there's not another blood moon scheduled total lunar eclipse. I'm not talking about blood moons that just appear out of nowhere, that you can't predict. I'm talking about moons that are a constant on the lunar clock. You got a triad of those coming up in 2018. And so that's very likely our year. Now, what's going to happen? Well, the Lord descends from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and trump of God. Okay? Now, you've got a war in the second heaven. And then Satan and his 1/3 are cast down to the earth. Now, what are we going to see in the sky when this happens? That's a good question, isn't it? We don't know if it looks like a meteor shower. We don't know if they're in ships that crash land onto the planet. We don't know. We don't know how big they are. We don't know what they look like. We have no idea what to expect. But these, the world thinks these things are aliens. Now, they aren't aliens from another planet, like another life form or another species. It's not like that. The word calls them angels and demons and devils and principalities and powers and rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what these things are. But when you look at these things and you're not looking through the filter of the word, you're thinking aliens from another planet. I don't think we can get away from the possibility here in Revelation chapter 6 that these things are going to crash land or something. They're cast down. Now, if they have ships, I don't know. I have no idea. If they have ships, then they can fly through our atmosphere, but they can't go back into outer space. They're earthbound once they're cast down. So they're here. And I don't know. The word says in Matthew 24. Let's go over there real quick. What did I do with my other pair of glasses? I took them off somewhere. All right. In Matthew 24, boogie over there real quick and let's take a look at this. Now it says in verse 30 of Matthew 24, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now, right before that, it says in verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, that's the first half, immediately after the first half of the tribulation, shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. It doesn't say the heavens will be shaken. It says the powers of the heavens. That's Satan. He's the prince of the power of the air right now, okay? And so I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect. No idea. No clue. I don't know if we're looking at something that looks like a meteor shower, but I know that when they're here, it's not going to take them long to conquer and to take over. They are superior beings to us. They are far ahead of us technologically. And God sends them as the instrument of his wrath on a disobedient earth. Okay? Now, when they are cast down, notice what comes next in Revelation chapter 6, in verse 15. The kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man. Well, that's everybody. That's everyone. Hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Now, as soon as these guys are cast down, the human race is hiding underground, scared to death. Everyone is hiding underground. Everyone. Okay? I think in order to get everybody underground, what we are going to see in our skies is going to be scary beyond all recognition. Can you imagine what it would take to get the entire human race underground? Well, in less than 2 years, according to the word, the entire human race is hiding underground. Okay? Now, what? I know it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the entire human race is hiding underground. And it says here, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Now, this is where the wrath shows up, ladies and gentlemen, in Revelation chapter 6, verse 17. At the end of the description of the sixth seal, you got the wrath. Now, what that means, we know we are not appointed unto wrath. So we're going, as soon as Jesus shows up in the sky and with power and great glory in the clouds, I mean, what do you expect to see when that happens? Seriously, what do you expect to see when Jesus shows up in the sky? You expect to see a man standing on a cloud? What do you expect to see? I don't know what to expect. Okay? I have no idea what to expect other than what it says. It says that the Son of Man comes in the clouds with power and great glory. Now, I don't know what that means. We're just going to have to see. But they can see him. You can, right there in verse 16, they can see his face. They can see him sitting on the throne. So if they think it's aliens initially, they won't for long. Okay? But imagine what kind of a world scenario we're looking at here, where the end result is every living human being on the planet hiding underground. That's what we're looking at here. Now, what would it take to get every living human being to hide underground? Okay? What would that take? Because it's first here, it's odd. It's really odd because the first thing you see if with this sixth seal is a great earthquake. Now this is like a global quake. This may be a pole shift. Who knows? We're going to find out. But the last place that you want to be after a global quake is underground. I mean, you don't want to be underground after a global quake with the aftershocks and all of that would be coming. Do you? I mean, the last place people would hide is underground after a quake, but they're underground. So why are they underground? Well, because the stars of heaven fell into the earth. These are fallen angels. We don't know what to expect that event to look like. We know it's going to occur. They're going to be cast down to the earth. Satan and his 1/3 are going to be here personally, and it's not going to take them long to conquer us and to take over. Okay? It's not going to take them long at all. They're a superior intelligence. And I don't know if we're looking at something like what you saw in the movie Independence Day, where you've got city-sized ships that show up. I don't know. But what I do know is it's a possibility because they're evacuating now. Well, they're evacuating millions and millions of people. So it's possible, but wow. Now keep in mind, every major government on the planet, with the exception of the United States of America, has made disclosure to their populations that something is visiting us. They've already done that. The USA doesn't do that, and they probably won't ever do that, because if they make disclosure and tell what they know, they're also going to have to admit that they're in cahoots with them and getting all this technology from them. They're not going to admit anything. They're just a bunch of liars. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Those who are in charge of this information in this project are not going to tell anybody anything. They should, but they won't. So when we get to that point in time and Satan is cast down, we're going to see many amazing things happen. Satan is not going to be cast down prior to the sixth seal opening. And it looks like that is one of the first events to expect. You're going to have a war in heaven. And we're going to see amazing things in the sky, explosions and all kinds of things like that from this war in heaven. And then you're going to have Satan and his 1/3 cast down to the earth to where they're earthbound. And let me tell you something. This first wave, when they first show up, don't even think for 1 second that this is the angels coming to gather you to take you to heaven. No, it is not. These are hostiles. The first ones to show up are hostile. There's Satan and his angels, his fallen angels. They're wicked, they're powerful, they're hostile. So initially, when they are cast down, don't go anywhere near them. Run as far as you can away from them. Stay totally away from them. If we do have a situation where you have city-sized ships showing up, run. Okay? Run away, far away from where they are, because Satan and his 1/3 are here first before Jesus shows up. And they are not friendly toward the human race. They are going to exterminate most people on the planet. That's what they're here to do. Okay? So don't go running up to them like, hey, here I am, take me to heaven. No. Turn around and run. If you can't, if the highways are clogged, grab what you can carry and go out as far away from those things as you possibly can. Okay? Don't go thinking they're here to rescue you, because they're not. Until Jesus himself shows up in the sky, we're not going anywhere. And Satan and his 1/3 are cast down before Jesus shows up. So we won't be here long after Satan is here. Maybe anywhere from a day or two to 2 or 3 weeks, maybe, but not very long. Okay, not very long. We can handle this. I think maybe the Lord wants us to get a look at what we're going to escape from, and we're going to be really, really, really happy to escape. But all the tribes of the earth mourn. What would, I mean, that would make all the tribes of the earth mourn. Okay? They're just going to be like, oh no. It's our worst nightmare, isn't it? For an alien, if you will, alien species to show up and take our planet from us. Well, that is what the indicators show. That we're looking at Satan and his 1/3 being cast down at some point between July 27th, 2018 and September 9th to 11th, 12th, somewhere in there, when the Feast of Trumpets will probably fall. Somewhere in between the 9th and 12th. And won't it be funny if it's September 11th? That's weird, isn't it? It's very weird that all these weird things happen like that. Okay, so now we've got a situation where our world as we know it completely changes. Completely changes. In one day, we are faced with a reality that we have never even considered could ever be a possibility. And that is that an intelligence from elsewhere shows up and they're going to take over. They're going to take over. Satan will require everyone to take his mark. And if you don't take his mark, he's going to kill you. All right? So it's really important to understand that when these things show up in the sky or crash land to the earth or whatever, don't go near them. They are not our ride home. Okay? They are not. This is Satan and the wicked angels. And then after that, at the Feast of Trumpets, last trump, Jesus appears in the sky in power and great glory. And then he sends his angels to gather us from the four winds, according to Matthew 24:31. So don't go running up, to a ship or something unusual or whatever, thinking that's your ride out. No, it is not. You don't have to know, which is what you stay away from anything that comes into our atmosphere that is not human. Okay? Stay away from them. Get as far away from them as you possibly can. And then when Jesus shows up, he'll send his angels to gather us from the four winds. So you don't have to go to them. The angels, the real ones that are coming for us, will come to you. Okay? But anything that shows up in our skies before Jesus does is bad news. And it's really important that believers understand that. Because we're expecting Jesus to come in the clouds and come in the sky. We don't know what to expect. Well, and then you've got something showing up in the sky that is bad news. That's not Jesus. We're expecting the bad to show up before the good. Okay? Does anybody have any questions over here? Thank you, Cher. I'm still on the mend. I'm still fighting it, and I'm doing better though. This is it took me off my other antibiotic, put me on another, and my kids, my kid keeps bringing home things, from public school. That's kind of how that is. Now, are you guys having issues with the broadcast, buffering issues or anything? Huh. Okay. Now, Cher says she keeps having to refresh because her sound goes and then the screen freezes. Huh. And it's been doing it since we came back from the long break. So she's going to watch the video. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I have no idea what the deal is, but we're going to keep going. Okay? And if it doesn't, if you're having trouble with the buffering on the live broadcast, the YouTube recording will be just fine for you to watch it. Okay. Now I don't see any questions in the chat room, but the timing on Satan being cast down is somewhere, according to my theory, which, I might not be right, but all the math is really solid at this time, and all the, as far as I know, it's really solid at this time. That could change with more information, but at this time, it's been solid for months now too, without any changes. So I might not be right, but I could be. So we're going to look at these things. Now, as far as, let's look at that sixth seal again. Let's see if we can pull anything else out of it. Stars of heaven, verse 13, stars of heaven fell unto the earth. That's not planets falling and hitting our planet. Okay. If it was a planet or a moon or in a star, an actual hunk of rock that's going out there, it would destroy the earth. So, because we're looking at multiple stars of heaven, stars, plural, fell unto the earth. This is the fallen angels and Satan. And then he takes over immediately after he gets here. It won't take him long at all. But we are not appointed to wrath. And therefore, our evacuation comes September 2018, last Feast of Trumpets, when Jesus shows up in the sky. Okay? So we won't be here real long after Satan is cast down, but we will see that event. It sure looks like it. Unless we are evacuated as soon as Jesus shows up in the, even if we're evacuated as soon as Jesus shows up, Satan has already been cast down prior to that. So, I think we need to prepare ourselves for some major changes in the world that are going to change the world as we know it forever. The forever. Oh, it's going to change things forever. Remember September 11th, how it changed everything? Well, that's nothing compared to what is going to happen when fallen angels and Satan himself personally are cast down to the earth, and they are here. They are earthbound. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really interesting. Okay, I think Troy's trying to take us to a break here. Don't go away. We'll be back right after that.